Right, so with Labour MPs complaining of intimidation because the Green Party dared to choose to make a graphic naming every MP who either voted against or abstained on a ceasefire in Gaza, accusing them of endangering their lives even by putting their names together and posting them on social media, it might come as a surprise to them that how they vote happens to be a matter of public record. There's even a phone app called Commons Votes you can download that puts every House of Commons vote at your fingertips, so you can check daily, basically, how your MP is voting and what they're voting on. And perhaps it's a revelation to some MPs that people can easily see how you're voting on various issues, or are you just of a mind that people don't care and don't look, and someone daring to highlight such things, well, that annoys you. My God, people might look at this and no longer decide to vote for me. Heaven forfend. Well, the truth of the matter is, Labour have pulled this stunt themselves, so many times in fact, that it is hypocrisy writ large that they are whinging now when it is done to them. So let's look at a few instances of Labour doing this to themselves, just to show how pathetic their attacks on the Green Party really are. The Green Party who are holding them to account. Right, so the Green Party put out this infographic the other day listing all the MPs who failed to support a ceasefire in Gaza, and as you can see, there are so many names on there, it is stupid. A metric ton of wastemen, so to speak, acting not in the name of peace, but acting in the interests of Israel, effectively, whose reputation in this conflict is getting more and more battered by their excuses, and as investigations into what has actually been happening out there have been taking place. But the biggest issue for Labour MPs, aside from their self-pity for how their constituents are reacting, which I'll cover in another video, their anger has been turned on the Green Party, as they claim they're basically being doxxed by them now, which isn't even true, since how every MP votes on every matter they vote on is a matter of public record, and anyone can look them up. All the Green Party have done is save people some time, is show people that actually this information is easily collated, otherwise how would they know what to put in the graphic, to be honest? You can bet your bottom dollar if an MP voted for something shameful and it wasn't freely available information, they'd all lie through their teeth over that. The Green Party was the first UK party to declare their support for a ceasefire, followed by the SNP and Plaid Cymru. It's the common sense decision. There can be no talks, no peace, until fighting stops and people get around the table instead of shooting each other. If other MPs, mostly Labour, that are complaining, but every other party too that didn't back the SNP amendment to the King's Speech calling for a ceasefire, then they shouldn't have voted or not voted at all, as the case may be, in a way that has now resulted in significant backlash for them as people hold them to account, justifiably. Not just every 5 years to their shock and horror, but in between those times too. How dare they? But Labour are total hypocrites in attacking the Greens as they have. And there are numerous examples as to why that is. Let's start with Rachel Reeves, because she had a real whine to Trevor Phillips on Sky on Sunday, saying demonstrations outside offices to make MPs vote a certain way is undemocratic. How dare these people think they can tell us what to do outside a general election? Who do they think they are? I'll tell you, Rachel, they're people who won't shut up for 5 years between elections just to suit you. The people that you're supposed to answer to. And I wonder how many donors and lobbyists you call anti-democratic for asking you to vote in favour or against certain things in certain votes. I bet you don't. But then I suppose they give you money, don't they? Well, back in 2020, Tory MPs based in Leeds constituencies, Reeves' own patch, he's a Leeds MP, voted against giving free school meals in the holidays to kids. Now, of course, Reeves is also against rolling out universal free school meals as well these days, unable to say where the money's coming from, apparently. You print it, lovey, and you tax the rich to offset that spending. That's how it works. You know that, really. But being a red Tory, you care no more than these Tories did in 2020 when you decided to name and shame them, but you shared infographics doing so to each and every one of them. So what's the difference? Same year, same issue, the Daily Mirror put out a front page with all the names of the MPs who backed starving kids during the holidays. Well, who'd have thunk it? Sir Kid Starver, because there is always a tweet showing that he's got two faces, shared this front page saying, "Last night the Conservatives voted against extending free school meals. They're letting children go hungry this half-term and over Christmas." He, meanwhile, is going to let them go hungry now for the next Parliament should he get into power. But he named and shamed the Tories at one point on this issue as well. Come forward in time a bit, 2021, And the official Labour Party Twitter account actually highlighted the very fact how MPs vote is public information by linking to the public record, encouraging people to look up the 248 Tory MPs who opposed calls to investigate government corruption. Again in 2021, but back on the subject of free school meals, Angela Rayner named and shamed the then Children's Minister Vicky Ford for voting against free school meals for hungry children. London Mayor Sadiq Khan has done it as well. Back in 2016, he made a very big deal of the Tories all voting against his then affordable homes plans on the London Assembly, but singled out his political rival for the mayoralty, Zach Goldsmith, to draw special attention to. There are more examples than this still. Factually, there's nothing wrong with pointing out how elected officials, our leaders, our politicians, our representatives vote, because asking them to justify those votes is holding them to account, and that is something all of us have a right to do. The increasing feeling in this country right now is one of increasing awareness of the truth, certainly of the Israel-Gaza situation, and it is casting an uncomfortable light on those who benefit or have benefited from Israel lobby support. That being held accountable for opposing the cessation of more killing is causing them to squeal, "This isn't fair, you're being mean to me." Try living in Gaza then. Try living in the place you have decided Israel can keep blasting the hell out of, decimating lives and livelihoods, all in the name of Israel being able to defend itself. But Palestinians having that same right doesn't seem to register with you. I can only assume because that position has been a bought one. It's also obviously hypocritical when it is fine for them to do it, but not having it revisited upon by them is something else. It also isn't like the Greens singled out Labour, because they did it to the Tories too. Tories are on that infographic as well. Labour playing victim has brought out support for them, though, bizarrely, which I find completely twisted. Clearly they haven't seen enough of the graphic images being shown that Labour are choosing to abstain over. Clearly are content to see more of people hurt, maimed, killed by what is going on out there, having acted in a way that will encourage more of it. The Greens were disgraceful, they tell us. No, they weren't. They simply published publicly available information. They are weaponising a tragedy, others squeal. Well, you're defending a party that has opted not to stand to end it, and the Green Party again only published publicly available information. Labour don't oppose a ceasefire, they're backing humanitarian pauses. So you can stop fighting for as long as it's enough time to let someone have a drink then before shooting them. That isn't the same as giving somebody a drink and not shooting them, because both sides have downed tools to talk and negotiate and reach a peace settlement, is it? Other people have taken the opposite view, praising the Greens for what they've done. Just doing a cursory search on Twitter, Mark Hanna wrote, "Well said, I absolutely will defend the publishing of those names. These people should never be voted for again." Rich Neville wrote, "Labour's basically spent an extremely productive day on Green Party recruitment." A good point. A lot of people have been joining the Greens all of a sudden, wanting to be on the right side of history, wanting a party that actually represents how they feel on this issue. The Green Party policies and political positions on current events attracting more people to them as an alternative, a proper, meaningful alternative to Labour, a party of change. Labour, though, are just wallowing in self-pity for refusing to back a ceasefire. By doing that, the party has come out as pro-violence. The humanitarian pause excuse being a genocide Joe Biden fiction as more and more armaments and supplies head to Israel from the US and, yes, from this country as well. We can't blame Labour for that, of course, they aren't in government. But if they were, do you think they wouldn't still be going on? You're a brave individual if you think these weapons wouldn't still be going there. Fact of the matter is, Labour have no defence for how they've acted. They, for the most part, 56 Labour MPs aside, put Starmer's diktat before what is good and right, and they know it. And all they have left is playing the victim whilst being on the side of atrocity. Now, who does that remind you of? Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Please like, share and subscribe if you did. More content out daily. Please do have your say on the story in the comments below and be part of the conversation. Meanwhile, here's a video recommendation where Labour MPs have individually been making their excuses as well. I covered one frontbencher's efforts to excuse himself in this video here, and I'll hopefully catch you on the next vid. Cheers, folks.